My name's Emily, and my Etsy store is Yesterday's Stash. And I'm here today to talk to you and to show you this book that I have been working on for a while. And I ended up working on it because I found two of these books called French Country Diary, and it had the same authors, of which I've got that in here. And the book was only $1. So I was able to take, let me see if I can get this apart. I was able to take the book, this is the same book, only just slightly different color and a different year. And what these people do is, and they mention it in every book, is that they go around to the smallest little towns in France once a year, and they have photographs that they put into this book. So I'm showing you this book because this is the way it looks intact. This is actually the book that I have here, the same book, only just a different year and a different color. And this is what I used. What I tried to do is I used the pages that they took, the photographs that they took, as many as I could, and I was able to get 15 of them in. Actually, maybe even a couple of more, but anyway, at least 15. And each of the pages or each of the pictures had a little note about the picture. And as much as I could, I tried to put that little note there. But the book actually is a French country diary. And for this particular year, it's 2003. And here's an example of one that I didn't include. But what I did was I left some room around the edge in case I wanted to put a lace in it or, add it to another page or whatever. And this is one that just couldn't fit in there. So, but that's how I ended up putting the book together. So the book itself is 8 by 8 by 4. It has 5 signatures. It is actually 46 pages, and front and back 92. So from the book, I was able to get, from the original book, I was able to get, like I said, 15 pages. And so when we think about France, we think about several things. Of course, we think about the land, and we think about the things that they are famous for, and we think about the French art. We think about wines. We think about their cuisine, and let's see, famous artists, wine. So as I was going through here, a fashion, that's another thing. I tried to incorporate this French country book and certain symbols of France. So the inside of the book had this pattern, and I was able to save this page so that the pattern was able to stay consistent, both the front and the back. And I have about 14 of these Fabriano sheets of stationery that I found for $2.50, I think was what it was. It has the deckled edge pages, but that's your, so front and back, that makes 28 pages specifically for journaling. And then I added 8 more pages for journaling. And here's an example. And I used pages from a book that I have by Susan Branch. There are approximately 60 inserts, or magazine pages, or just things like that in the book. So and I have 8 large glassine bags that I have put tags in, and around 30 different kinds of laces, binding, trims, fabric. This is some of that leaf pattern, just all kinds. I have about 30 different kinds of those kinds of items that I have added. About 30. It could be more, or but that's the way it turned out. And as it is, it's got 5 signatures, so it's really a thick, big book. And of course, being hardback is gonna even add to its heaviness. So this first page is a fleur-de-lis, which is a symbol in France that is stands for royalty or king or that type of thing. And I was able to use 2 of Mrs. Coggs' digital kits. And one of them is called The Streets of London, and the other one is a French artist by the name of Paul, and I'm not going to try to pronounce. I didn't take French in school. I have no French in me. The reason that I did this is because these books were so, $1 each, and I thought these will be really fun. And boy, has it been fun. It has just been so much fun to work on these books, and I've learned a lot. So these are actually using photograph paper, and then the ones that I didn't put photograph paper on, I did put a little bit of a covering on it, a clear varnish, so that it can be seen that way. I know Paris doesn't have much to do with French country, but it is the capital of France. And this is just a little tag that says never give up. This is a belly band, and I had this game called Go Fish for Art, and it had a couple of French artists, Van Gogh and Henry Lautrec. That I stuck that in here in this belly band. And then this is one of the 8 large glassine bags that I decorated. This particular one is napkin, and then I used this is wallpaper, and a lot of lavender, because when we think of France and the fields, we think of lavender. And this is this trim here is an interesting find. I found it in 4 different colors, and it looks like this. I can't imagine what it was ever used for, but I am trying to use them for different things. So a huge one, this is, I'm not sure how much this is, but I got this for like 50 cents. So I thought, well, I've got to take it and use it, because who knows what I might be able to come up with it. This is the washi tape that I ordered from, let's see, AliExpress or something like that. You can order all that kind of thing from AliExpress. But what I did to turn it so that it wouldn't be a clear, I put it on a blue background, and so it kind of fans out. These are more pictures from this is art to this is a Van Gogh, and this is a Monet, and I'm not going to try to say the Arc de Triomphe is how we would say it in English. But this is one of the pages, and it is some tinware, some pottery, kitchen, and then this is this is sort of their color. It's called a Provence blue, and so I used that where I could, or for as much as I had. I really didn't buy, but maybe I did buy the Etsy kits. Try to support the Etsy sellers, and I bought them, and other than a couple of other things, which I will show you. Of course, I paid full price for this, however much it was. But I generally, most of my stuff is used, and it comes from junk stores and thrift stores, and it's a fun challenge to figure out, how to incorporate them. This is a picture of a monastery that is in northwest towards the Alps in Italy, and the grass was here, and so I put a little pocket right here that I could use to stick things in. This is another one of Mrs. Coggs, and then these are pictures of, I wanted to stick that in there, pictures of fashion, where I could put that in. And then also, they have lots of cafes. Obviously, cafe is a French word, and so coffee and tea are both drunk there. And the rooster is their animal, and the rooster's supposed to mean vigilant. And I guess they like to think that they are vigilant, or vigilant population. I did put some little collaging on some of these pages. I also I guess I coffee stained these. This is I guess these are, let's see, what are these called? I can't say the name of what that is, but there's pictures of the dark blue in there, and it's a dusky French blue. Okay, so they calling it a dusk French blue, often used as an accent color in Provence, and it brightens the facade of a house. So here's where I was able to put the lace on both sides, and here's the little notes that I have for each book. This is some Susan Branch writing pages. This is one of those, I used a piece of fabric to cover this, and a mat stack, and then, I used cardstock or folder paper, manila file folders for them. This is a piece of braille. I found the lady on Twitter, and she said she was getting rid of some things, and she had some braille papers, and if you wanted them, to message her. So I did, and it all worked out that I was able to get several pages, which is just interesting to touch. It's just this wonderful, interesting texture. Here's a little bunch of note papers. Another one of these glassine folders with a collage, more lace. A lot of the pages are double-sided or are real thick cardstock. This is a picture of a reading nook in a room that they must have gone to, the couple that took the pictures. This is an interesting cupboard with, they call it a trove of kitchen collectibles, and they tell you where it is. And since I don't know French, I'm not going to try to pronounce any of the words. This is just a played with doing some pleats on a page. This is a group of, this is an old postcard. These are more fashion. That's kind of it's impressionist, but this is a part of Mrs. Coggs' kit, and Champs-Élysées. Oh, I said I wasn't going to try to pronounce them. And there's their national animal, and Ernest Hemingway actually started he wrote his first book when he was married to his first wife in Paris. And that's how he linked up with so many other authors. But anyway, I found this is his home in Key West. And so I picked up a postcard when we were there, and he has cats was his favorite, and he had cats all over. He had multiple cats. And it says choir practice at Hemingway House. I thought that was cute. Couldn't resist sticking that in there. Even though he's not French, he did. This is a reminder of the cuisine. This is a piece of stationery. It's by iDesign, printed in the U.S. It's a thick kind of paper, but it is of a place setting to remind us of the cuisine. These are some wine facts. And then I subscribed for a period of time. I subscribed to Tea Time, the magazine that this particular issue has 8 lovely places for tea in France. And so the whole thing is just full of information about tea in France. And so I couldn't resist. I pulled a couple of pages out that talks about types of teas and just different couple of different articles out of that magazine and stuck it in here. So a little bit of education interspersed throughout the book where I could. This is a picture of 2 sisters, and one of them is fixing the other's hair. And this is lavender. It's in a tea bag, but it's not tea. It's lavender. And it has that distinctive odor. But what I found was 2 envelopes that had a lot of lavender in them. Here's a picture of a lavender field in France, in the country. And so I took some lavender and put it in this tea bag and stuck it in here, just for a little enjoyment. The scent is just wonderful. I hope you're not allergic to it. But this is one thing I did buy new. It is a paper pad, and it's a 6x6 inch paper pad, and it was called En Vogue, and it's by Carta Bella Paper Company. And it has lots of pictures of high heels, of fashion, mannequins, colognes, a map of Paris, pocketbook, you name it. So I couldn't resist this to put a couple of these pages in the book because of that. And I got at the thrift store. It's a couple of pieces of stationery with the envelope, just a note, and it had that fleur-de-lis pattern on it. So I couldn't pass that up. This is violets, and it's 3 pieces of I guess you could call them doilies. This is an artist that paints antique coffee pots. And that was a page in there. I put a trim around it. And then this is a small walled garden next to an estate. This right here is an interesting find. I just can't believe sometimes how things can be. This was a little expensive, but I didn't think it was expensive. It was $3.50. You can see how it was on sale. It's 450 flower, all occasion cards, and it is published by craftsstoreuk.com. And it is all of these different pictures of flowers that you can punch out. They're not stickers, but they're flowers that you can punch out. And some of them have some sayings in them. And I've got to use this. I've got to figure out some ways to make this happen. But just beautiful flowers. And it's Try Crafts, beautiful today. Oh, it says visit www.crafts-beautiful.com. So I'll put that in the description box below. I'm not sure if you can still get them, but that's the little centerpiece there. I have a roll of this sticker. It kind of, is rolled up like, and it's a bunch of stickers, and all of them are of French things. French colognes, French lotions, you name it. And so I've taken a bunch of those and stuck them in here. This is the entrance to the Louvre. And the Louvre is real near the Museum d'Orsay that I went to a couple of years ago. We didn't go to the Louvre, but we did go to that museum, which I'll talk about in a minute. So we've got that, and we've got just some notes. We've got a sign of a pub, which I thought was really, really neat. A lot of ironwork and signs and sorts of things. And then this is one of the other pictures that was in the book. Every once in a while, my thrift store that I go to the most frequently has these ATC cards, and this one is called Dancers. The girl has all the information about it right here. And Degas, who is an artist, a French artist during that Impressionist period, used to draw ballerinas all the time, and that was his sort of signature. There's another fleur-de-lis, and then I've been working on these little bits of things. A heart that I have done some machine quilting on, backed it with part of a lace doily. This is actually that, some people call it Aida cloth, AIDA or Aida cloth, that I did a collage on. And then this is just a piece of fabric that I mixed paper and did some decorative stitching on it on my sewing machine, and it has a little bobble on it. So I just stuck these in here. This is actually wallpaper that I used for that. And then over here on this side is more of that Provence dusky blue, Provence, and it talks about the door and the color of the door and such. This is another one of those collaged, and you can write on the back with these large glassine bags. This is one of those 8 separate journaling pages. This right here is is from an architecture book that my daughter gave me. It's called let's see, Bicknell's Victorian Buildings, Floor Plans and Elevations for Houses and Other Structures. And so it's just a lot of fun to look at the different floor plans and the structures, the types of the floors and the different types of windows. The architecture is just fascinating. So what I've done is I've cut some of these up into strips, and or for this project, I'll probably use this book for other things as well. Here's a church. But anyway, just really interesting that I can use that and to create some little edging on the side of there. There's one right there. This is a piece of stationery. It's a set of stationery that I found at a thrift store. And this is actually vellum, and it's just so pretty. It's just... And then this is the regular paper, and then a ribbon that goes in, is interlaced in it. It's just a very pretty piece of stationery. Now this is Iris's. This came from an Iris napkin. This is a bookmark that I made and did a decorative stitch on. Used a little doily and that same color blue. And here's another one. This is actually a cafe somewhere in France. This is another one of those. I just had such an interesting time working on this. I basically worked on it all summer, simply because it's a big book, it's a big project, and I put it down sometimes. This is My Porch Prince. This was her freebie if you purchased from her. It says here, look inside, so there's a little pocket here, and when you look inside, there is a 4-leaf clover. We've got that in there, and this is actually seashells. This is a piece of artwork by Monet called Spring, and I had that as as some stationery. So I just put that on there like that in case you wanted to write on the outside. There's more of the Braille paper. This is a library card with a French, that goes to a French book from, it's called Rodin, R-O-D-I-N. I'm sure that's not how it's pronounced. And the French Genius. So I stuck that up here. I have that color in the washi tape. And then this is an interesting, Simply But Chic Country Kitchen. Another with a very steep slated roof. This is another page that I actually took and cut in half and made it into a belly band. And then I did some decorative stitching on this. Stuck one of these in there. 2 of these in there, some more of those, with different. Just had a good time stitching, getting it all stitched together, and you can kind of see that this wrought iron fencing resembles that fleur-de-lis pattern. And this is another side. This is Wigilia, and it's going into a gate. So I kind of cut it up in half. Turned it into a bookmark. This is an interesting piece of work that I took glassine and I pleated it, coffee stained the glassine, did three rows of decorative stitch on it. On the back it has coffee dyed paper, and I had put several layers of other things around it, and so it ended up having a nice pattern to it. This is another My Porch Prince pattern. I just love her work, and a little place to do some writing. These came from another interesting, I've been running across some interesting stationery. This is a great big sheet of stationery, and it's by a company called Oddballs Garden Vista. But what I did was I came in and I did some decorative work on and turned it into where you could actually write on it, put picture on it, and it's a nice weight of cardboard. So I kind of did that. Then I've got another card here that has Paris on it, and then this is a I can't tell, it's too much French, but it's an interesting French item, which if you speak French, then you would know what it is. And then lastly is another set of stationery that I found. This is of the Eiffel Tower. And then this one is a teacup that I did some decorative stitching around with, and it's a little pocket that you can stick things in. Lots of lace, lots of sewing, a lot of decorative stitching, trying to hit on all of France's spots of what makes them unique and interesting. This book will this is what I used to cover it. I couldn't decide between these two, so I just joined them together. So it's a really long strand that you can wrap around as many times as you like. This book will be for sale in my Etsy store, Yesterday's Stash. I'm just had such a great time working on it, and I probably at some point will take what I still have and use, make this book. Isn't it? It's just so pretty. So the other thing that's going to be included in here is, I think that this book was published in the late 1800s, and it is a French book, and it's pictures of young children. I couldn't get a date on it, but I did look up the author, and it talks about the books that he published, and the book was in very, very bad shape when I picked it up. Just found it. This I have found several years ago, but I'm including a page from that book. I'm also including some Fandex cards. I don't know if you know what a Fandex is. I bought these at a cheap. It's called cheap books or something like that. It has all painters in it, and so what I did was I took 4 out of some of the painters from the Impressionist area: Monet, Manet, Renoir, and Degas, since I mentioned them in the book. So this is also information that they wrote, the couple that wrote the book, and how they came across the pictures that they did. So thank you for watching, for coming along this wonderful journey that I'm on with making junk journals, taking mostly used materials. Very little is store bought, and except for what I do purchase from Etsy sellers. So thank you again for watching, and we'll talk again soon.